Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Joe Cohen is with us. First timer on Ron Siegel Radio. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Glad to have you with us. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. Our operator standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Santa's List Day. Okay, well, something I knew a lot of folks that are looking for Santa's list, but, by the time we get to Santa, we'll be done. We've got all of our Hanukkah decorations put away, so we won't have to worry about it. We'll be out there having a nice day while everyone else is cleaning up. Just throw that out there for you. International Cheetah Day. I like this one. Today's National Sock Day. Not socks, plural, but sock. So apparently it must have been done by somebody who is a mother who's had trouble finding where the kids put both socks. Just throw that out there for you. Let's take a look. Cabernet Franc Day. Okay, I'm more of a Merlot, Zinfandel kind of a person. I've only got 200. Well, I had 200 bottles. Now we're about 180 bottles. Might have to take another trip to Paso Robles and get a little more. You a wine drinker, Joe?
I am. I love a Cabernet. I love a Chianti.
Okay.
I also love a nice rosé.
Rosé, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not into too much into the rosés, but
have you ever had the Tobantini in Paso Robles?
Tobantini, yes, I have.
Yeah, it's got the their rosé with their champagne. Tastes like strawberries. Yep. It's amazing.
So I digress, but I can't. It's my show. So I was up there our last trip up there. I walked into the tasting room. Tobin James, love Tobin James. Toby's a great guy, loves to party.
Yeah.
Walked into the tasting room and I told the gentleman there, I get all these the rosés that come in there. I give them away as soon as I get my wine club shipment.
Yeah.
And I give away the port. He said, "You just don't know what's good."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, well, enlighten me." He said, "Well, here's what Toby likes: is he likes to take his champagne and pour a little bit of just a touch of port right on top of it.
Yep.
Because he likes everything sparkling."
Yep.
So I tried it. Have you ever gone to a pet shop and they put the dog in your hands, the little puppy in your hands? You can't give it up. So I ended up walking out with a handful of champagnes, which I don't like.
Yeah.
And the ports,
yeah,
which I don't like. And now I like mixing them.
Yeah.
So those are good.
They're really good.
I like those.
Yeah.
And Tobin James is one of the more fun wine rooms. They just have a good time up there.
Yeah. Well, it's free tastings.
Well, yeah, free tastings. One of the few that still has free tastings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you're going to go to Paso Robles, go to Tobin James last, because then that way you could party the rest of the day at Tobin James.
Yeah, that's true. Although I tend to stop there on the way into town.
Yeah.
And if you're frugal like me, what you do is as soon as you get into town, you go to Albertsons. Albertsons in Paso Robles. Have you ever gone to Albertsons in Paso Robles?
Yeah.
They've got a great wine shop.
Best wine shop there.
Best wine shop, exactly.
Yeah.
So you go there, you see what all the wines are. If any tasting rooms you're going to, just take a picture of what they've got there. Then go to the tasting room. And on your way out of town, if it happens to be that it's a little cheaper at the Albertsons, stock up there. Linda's got a great collection right there. But I digress. We should get back to today's also National Cookie Day. And those of you that are regulars on Ron Siegel Radio, you know that I have beaten anorexia. So National Cookie Day. And I'm going to have to give a shout out to my friend Donna because she makes a ton of great cookies.
Shout out to my wife, Stacy, who is the best. She makes the best chocolate chip cookie in town.
Okay, we're going to have a cookie off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we're on there. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 105 points. The S&P 500 is down 30. NASDAQ is down 156 points. The 10-year Treasury is up 8.5 basis points. Not a lot to worry about right there. If you got our market commentary this morning, I send it out very early every day. RSRmarketminute.com, RSRmarketminute.com. You can get that free from us every day as soon as the data comes out. But I shared with you, unless you're closing a loan right now, don't worry about this. The markets are going to be very volatile this week. First off, we're in the holiday period. We're also getting the labor reports. They're going to come out this week. And more important than the labor reports, the jobs reports that are coming out, because we know they're fake. But what's going to really come out this week is the revisions for the past reports where they have more trouble jimmy rigging them. But we're still looking good on interest rates, and they're going to get even better. So we're going to keep watching that. Did I mention that oil prices, did I talk about that they're down 61 cents a barrel?
Crazy.
Do we even want to look at gas prices in California?
I just filled up yesterday. It was like $4.99.
$4.99.
Yeah.
Okay, so you filled up someplace that was more than the state average.
It's crazy.
$4.80 is the average for a gallon. Of course, this is going to be on the regular. So $4.80 a gallon of gasoline. Josh, $4.10 over there in Nevada, and Arian's paying $3.07. She's my loan officer assistant. $3.07 a gallon. So she lives in America.
I just can't believe how they can hike the rates that high.
It's our tax. Of course, if you listen to our governor, it's because the oil companies are gouging only California. The only one that gets stiffed worse than California, in my opinion. Well, Florida, they're paying $3.14 a gallon of gasoline. But can you believe what the NC2A did to Florida State? I mean, think about that one. These young men, they work their tails off, have a perfect season, and then the SEC entitlement division gets in there without a perfect season. Unbelievable. Florida State.
Crazy.
They get robbed.
It's rigged.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama, they've had a decent year, but undefeated. And when you see what Florida State did, even without having a quarterback, how do you win a division game without having a quarterback?
And now they're going to do some random thing where it's like a playoff to get into the BCS Bowl just because of the way the record's laid out. So it doesn't even make any sense.
Well, next year should be better because I think they've got 12 teams to get into the BCS. So that might make it a little better where you actually, instead of a boardroom, you've got a football field to get into the championship game.
Right.
We're going to watch that one for you, but you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat real estate with Joe Cohen. We're going to talk about experts. They project home prices will rise over the next 5 years. And is no credit better than bad credit? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. And yes, I love that Home Select product. If you haven't taken a look at it yet, first position HELOC. The one I did over the weekend, an effective APR of 2.006 on a 30-year loan. Yes, it's adjustable, but it was a 30-year loan paying off in 3.8 years. What do you think about that one? Nice numbers on that. Let's see what's going on in the markets today, every day at this time. OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculated from actual locked rates. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or APR. They just tell us the locked rates across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. 30-year loans Friday locked at 7.077. Jumbo loans locked 7.232. FHA loans 6.84. USDA loans. That's generally the rural areas, no down payment, 6.848. Best loan on the market for those who earned it. This is my favorite. It would be the 30-year VA loan. And yes, our team is the number one lender in America for Homes for Heroes. 30-year VA loan, 6.628. Thank you to our veterans. We appreciate you every single day. We couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for the men and women of our military. But also, don't forget here, let's talk about this one. If you want to get our market commentary, again, every morning rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com, free to you. All you need to do is go in there, sign up, and tell us you want it, and we'll send it. Now, let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today before I give you some thoughts on the market. The S&P 500 is down 30 points. The 10-year Treasury now is down 5 basis points, getting a little bit better. Mortgage-backed securities are down. I'm sorry, it's up 5 basis points. The mortgage-backed securities are down 18, which means rates are up. They always move in the opposite direction. Just a mathematic formula. It's not anybody's opinion. It's just the way it is. What's driving all of this? Well, Jerome Powell, once again, he had made comments on Friday. Thankfully, right now we're in the Federal Reserve's quiet period. That means they can't make any comments, although they do tend to leak information to Nick Timrose at the Wall Street Journal. So when they can't talk, he talks for them. But on Friday, Powell did make comments, acknowledge and welcome the slowdown in inflation. And as we talked about before, they're actually looking at 6 months instead of 12 months to get a better idea of what things are doing. And if you look at that, the annualized rate, if you look from October for the core, 2.5%, good indication of where, based on trend, inflation is heading. It's still above the Fed's 2% target, but not too far off. It also appeared Powell tried to take a victory lap by saying, quote, the forcefulness of our response to inflation also helped maintain the Fed's hard-won credibility.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know better than that.
Yeah. Credibility. Ensuring that the public's expectations of future inflation remain well anchored, unquote. Now, this is the same Federal Reserve that in 2021 did absolutely nothing and created all this inflation when they should have been watching what was going on.
They filled the ink.
Yeah, exactly. They're unbelievable. And now they're taking a victory lap.
Yeah.
But the important thing is they are going to be, they're quiet for the next 10 days. There's next to no opportunity or possibility that they're going to raise rates on the 14th at their meeting. And the likelihood of any kind of a rate increase coming anytime, they're done with that. I'm just throwing my opinion out there. And there are a lot of people that have that same opinion. January 31st, they're meeting. 13% chance that there's going to be a cut. That's what the market is forecasting. March 20th, they're meeting. 60% chance of a rate cut by then. So we're on the down stretch, and that'll be helpful for real estate. That'll be helpful for home finances. That'll be helpful for those of you that have gotten into issues. And I'm going to tell you again, I've told you this before. Right now, if you've got a little extra time on your hands, rsr2step.com, rsr2step.com. Now's the time to do that debt consolidation loan. Get all of your debts under control, and don't worry about the fact that there's a charge in there for cash out refinance. That's a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac guideline. There's a cash out refinance because you're going to want to refi in 6 months anyway when rates are significantly lower, and then we don't have to deal with that extra fee that's built in there for you. rsr2step.com. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. If you have a phone, make the call or get the mobile app, ronismylender.com, ronismylender.com. You can get the mobile app and do anything you want right there on that app. Let's chat this morning. We're chatting real estate. Joe Cohen is with us. How are you this morning?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So tell us a little bit about yourself, background and real estate.
Yeah. So, as we were talking a little bit before the show started, I started off on a career in radio. I have a face for radio.
I have a face for radio.
Yeah. So, shortly thereafter, I answered an ad in the newspaper in 2001, and they said that they were going to enter me into a licensing program. And lo and behold, I was good at it, so I stuck with it, and here I am today. So 2001 to current, I'm a real estate professional.
And the irony is I'm sure now that you've been doing this for over 20 years,
yeah,
you know that when they put that ad out there and they offer you an opportunity to get licensed,
yeah,
every company in their world is out there recruiting.
Yep.
And as long as you can fog a mirror, you can get a real estate license.
Well,
I say that I have one.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to admit I've had my real estate license for 9 years. I am not qualified to do a real estate transaction. But that goes with about 70% of the rest of the people that have real estate license.
Right.
Right.
Well, about a year ago, like you said, you just kind of had have a heartbeat, and you'd be able to get some deals. Right now, we're getting into the real grind where you actually have to pound the phones and get people on the phone and know what you're doing. Yeah.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference. And there's still a lot of people out there that just think, well, so I get a real estate license, I get rich.
Yeah. It's not that easy.
It's a real job.
Yeah. The average real estate professional makes about $45,000 a year doing maybe 1 or 2 transactions a year.
Okay, but the question I would throw at you from that, is that what they net?
That's what they
or
net.
is that what they gross? Because there's expenses involved.
Yeah, there's expenses involved, right? So a lot of times, I'm with EXP Realty, and a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, they have really good splits. Yes, they do. Are you independent, or do you want to join a team? Well, if you're independent, what's your time worth, right? You're going to be out there pounding the pavement, spending the marketing, putting all the ads together, spending the gas to get to appointments. When you actually close that one deal, what's your actual net worth? It ends up being like around 45% after all the splits and the desk fees and everything of that nature, right? So that's why I belong to a team called Rock Real Estate Partners.
Okay.
And that allows me to worry about what I actually am good at, which is finding deals, getting people under contract, getting opportunities, right? Whereas my team now is worried about the marketing, and they're helping me enhance my business. And I pay a 50% split for that. So it ends up working out in my favor.
And that's an interesting thing, because most people don't understand how that works. But the thing that I think the average person could understand is, how many rabbits can you chase at once? Right? If you try to chase 4 rabbits at one time, how many are you going to catch? Probably none.
None.
Right? So you can spend your time going out there and meeting people and doing what you're good at.
Yep.
And I'm going to suggest most of us are not good at everything.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you try and do everything, you can be a jack of all.
Yeah.
Or jack of nothing.
Yeah. And I tried doing it on my own. It's hard.
Right.
There's a lot of cost involved, and then of course, as you
How
start,
do you keep up on everything that's the new
the moving parts,
Right,
a lot
exactly.
of moving parts.
The industry is always changing. People are always changing.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to this about many times, and I lead a lending team. It's we talk about that on Ron Siegel Radio all the time. And I've got a great team behind me, but I don't track. Last year, I haven't looked at it this year, but last year there was like 360 guideline changes just on the FHA loan.
Yeah. Wow. How do you keep up with that?
Right.
Yeah.
But there are people that do.
And you're just sitting there talking about what the previous guidelines were, and then they update them on you, and then it's up to your compliance to kind of keep you up to date, right?
And then you talk about, okay, now we've got Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and USDA and VA. There was just a change in VA guidelines last Friday. So you got to have a team, and the folks that go out there and one of my, I don't know your opinion on this, but I'm not a big fan of the agents that go out there and try and help the buyer and the seller both.
Yeah, there's a lot of liability when it comes to that. Now, don't get me wrong. If somebody says, Joe, I really like you and I really want you to represent me in the transaction, I'm going to do my best to be the fiduciary for both sides. But at the end of the day, that's why it's beneficial for me to have a team, because then I could say, well, let's bring in one of my team members
exactly
to give you the necessary, representation that you need.
Makes it a little better that way. Because how do you, your sellers, your job with the seller is to maximize their return or their goals,
right?
Because sometimes it's not about price; they've got different goals,
right?
So maybe whatever their goals are,
right?
And the job for the buyer's agent is to maximize whatever their goals are.
Exactly.
Right. Might be the payment might be their issue. It might be that they're more concerned about the price of the property, which I don't know why they are, because it's more about the payment.
Well,
unless they're paying cash.
And really negotiating that due diligence period, because what we found over the last couple of years in this industry is that we got the seller's market forced the buyer to buy deals that they couldn't kick the tires, right?
Sure.
And so your buyer's agent really needs to kind of be strong in that and make sure that they're getting you into that contingency period where you can actually go in, do your inspections, perform your due diligence, check the permitting, check the square footage, and make sure it's a good deal that you're buying into. And if you have the dual agent or the person representing the listing agent also representing the buy side, you could put yourself in a bad situation.
Could be. I want to talk to you about the idea, because when you talk about the idea of kicking the tires and where we were a couple of years ago, are we heading back there?
Absolutely.
I want to talk to you about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. Experts project home prices will rise over the next 5 years. Please don't tell that to Diana Olick or our friends over at Chapman University. They're not quite sure of this stuff, but the experts say that, so we'll see what happens there. Is no credit better than bad credit? We'll talk about that. Yes, our raffle of gratitude is continuing. We're going to give away 3 days, 4 nights, or 6 days, 5 nights. Your choice. We're going to Las Vegas. I'm sorry, no, we took Las Vegas off there. Nobody wanted it. Hawaii, Nashville, or Lake Tahoe. Hawaii, Nashville, or Lake Tahoe are the places that we're giving away those trips to. And maybe I'll tell you about the mortgage that we're going to pay next quarter. We'll talk about that as well. You can reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com. rsrmoney.com. Great tool if you want to know what your property value is. It's looking backwards. You have to talk to a real estate professional if you want to look forward. If you're wanting to sell your property, talk to a real estate professional. If you want to know what's going on backwards in time, rsrmoney.com gives you 4 different valuations of the property. 3 of them are really good. And I know you're going to look there, so we'll put Zillow on there as well. But we have the other 3 are good ones. So that's rsrmoney.com. Experts project home prices will rise over the next 5 years. Even with so much data showing home prices are actually rising in most of the country, there are still a lot of people who worry there will be another price crash in the immediate future. In fact, a recent survey from Fannie Mae shows that 23% of consumers think prices will fall over the next 12 months. That's nearly 1 in 4 people who are dealing with that fear. Maybe you're one of them. Could be because you watch CNBC. Could be because maybe you're one of the millennials, right? Millennials only know of one recession. Nothing against millennials. They only know one recession. Real estate values dropped dramatically. And I'm going to say as the real estate values dropped caused the recession. It wasn't a recession that caused that to happen. But here, to help ease that concern, here's what the experts will say will happen with home prices, not just next year, but over the next 5 years. Experts project ongoing appreciation. While seeing a small handful of experts' opinions may not be enough to change your mind, hopefully a larger group of experts will reassure you. Here's the larger group. It's my favorite. The Home Price Expectation Survey from Pulsenomics, a great resource to show what experts forecast for home prices over a 5-year period. It includes projections from over 100 economists, investment strategists, and housing market analysts. And the results from the latest quarterly release show home prices are expected to go up every year through 2027. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 98.1 video feed, FM 98.1 video feed, you're seeing a chart that shows what the estimated home price performance is December to December as forecasted in the third quarter of 2023. And I think the numbers to me look a little bit conservative. While the projected increase, yeah. While the projected increase in 2024 isn't as large as 2023, remember home price appreciation is cumulative. In other words, if these experts are correct, after your home's value rises by 3.32% this year, it should go up another 2.1% next year. I'm going to talk to Joe about that in a minute. If you're worried home prices are going to fall, here's the big takeaway. Even though prices vary by local area, experts project they'll continue to rise across the country for years to come at a pace that's more normal for the market. What does this mean for you? If you're not convinced yet, maybe these numbers will get your attention. They show how a typical home's value could change over the next few years using the expert projections from the Home Price Expectation Survey. Remember, this is national. We're in California. You may be able to double, maybe even triple these numbers for California. And again, you've got the chart right there on the screen. In this example, let's say you bought a $400,000 home at the beginning of the year. If you factor in the forecast from the Home Price Expectation Survey, you could potentially accumulate more than $71,000 in household wealth over the next 5 years. Again, I'm going to tell you, you could probably double or triple that for California just based on our historical numbers. Bottom line, if you're someone who's worried home prices are going to fall, rest assured, a lot of experts say it's just the opposite. Nationally, home prices will continue to climb, not just next year, but for years to come. If you have any questions or concerns, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And remember, hey, if you want, go to our RSRlistANA.com, RSRlistANA.com. I know it's going to give you what's happening in the zip code of 92807. Don't worry about that, because our friends over at Altos Research track every single home for sale in the United States every day, every week. And you'll be able to see in there what's happening in your zip code. It's going to give you Anaheim when you sign up, but you can put in any zip code you want and find that information out. And it'll tell you that, wow, in 92807, there's a whopping 24 houses for sale. That's the real-time real estate segment. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's very low.
Yeah, nothing for sale.
Yeah.
That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation. Joe Cohen is with us. He's with eXp Realty. And he said also Rock Real Estate Partners.
That's right.
Okay. So you made a comment in the last segment, Joe, that I want to dig into a little bit. So in 2020 and 2021, real estate values were increasing at dramatic pace.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out there an unhealthy pace.
Yeah, right around 17%.
Right. Can't keep up with that.
Yeah.
And in order to win a property, in order to win a bid, for those people that did not follow the guides we provide you at Ron Siegel Radio, because I show you how to win a bid right there, people are doing things that may not have been the most prudent.
Right.
Right. They were waiving a lot of contingencies on home inspections and appraisals.
Appraisal, yeah.
And a lot of issues.
Paying over the appraised value.
Paying over appraised value. And I'm not saying that's bad, because those people actually won the property.
Right.
Right. They got a property that they wanted. And, you know, over time, they're going to come out ahead in most instances.
Yeah. If you're in it for the long play, right?
Right. If you're in it for the long term, you're going to come out ahead on that. So if as we suspect, interest rates drop, are we going to get back into that same situation next year?
More than likely. It's been nice over the last year and a half to be able to say, okay, I'm going to bring this qualified buyer to you, and we're going to look at the property. We're going to do some due diligence, and we're going to say, check under the hood, so to speak. Whenever we do a buyer representation, we go in and we perform sewer line inspections, because nobody pays attention to the sewer line.
That's right? A big one right there.
We go in and we do full home inspections. We look at the electrical. We look at the plumbing. We look at the roof, the age of the roof, especially now with homeowners insurance being so difficult. It's very important that you guys are checking out the roof, because if it hasn't been redone in the last 20 years, you might not be able to get a standard insurance policy, which is going to increase your debt to income ratio. And
if you do get that policy, the renewal may come with a stipulation they need to get a new roof before you can
renew. Exactly. So it's important now more than ever that we stick to our guns with these due diligence periods, because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where all of a sudden, once you've paid over the appraised value, and now you have to have a $20,000 roof, or now you have to have a $15,000 sewer line that you have to replace, or maybe you have to repipe the entire house. So these are all things that if you have a really strong buyer's agent, that they can actually negotiate for you in the price, right? Now, let's talk about the rate decrease. What that's going to do is it's going to cause a frenzy, right? And people are going to be like, nope, if you want this house, you have to pay over, and you can't come in and inspect it. You're taking it as is, where is, right? Well, if you haven't noticed, most contracts are always as is, where is, but that doesn't mean that I can't still ask for a credit for repair.
Well, the other part of that is, even if it's as is, where is, would you recommend somebody still having a home inspection done?
100%. Because you have to, even if you want to buy it for as is, where is, you still need to know what you're getting into, right?
Sure.
You can plan for that and say, okay, I don't have to do it today, but I know in the next 5 years I'm going to have to do this.
So you have a contingency plan for it.
Exactly.
So I'm going to share with you, because we did this, and I believe wholeheartedly, I completely concur with what Joe said, is interest rates coming down is going to create a storm of buyers.
Yep. They're going to flood the market.
They're going to flood the market. And what's going to happen, there's been a lot of pent-up demand because people are saying, okay, I can't afford that 8% loan.
Yep.
And now we're down in the 7s, but they couldn't afford that. We're getting more and more buying power. We're going to come out with a piece later today or tomorrow on that. But if you want to know how to get your offer accepted, rsrperfectoffer.com. rsrperfectoffer.com. We actually show you how to get the offer. And I'm not a real estate guy. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a radio guy. But I understand people. So if I know, Joe, that I want, not me, I don't get a vote. My wife wants this property.
Yeah.
And I know that I've got to go, there's multiple people bidding. If I go in there with my eyes wide open, knowing that I'm paying more than the property value, I've probably got a better chance than somebody that's not paying more than property value.
Correct.
Right? The seller wants to maximize their return.
Their goal is to net the most.
Right. So if I know what I'm doing, which in the rsrperfectoffer.com we do, we take a look and say, okay, what if we give the seller 3 months worth of appreciation up front?
There you go. That's creative.
Right? But we understand how to do that, right?
Right.
And there's nothing against that. Now, what if we add another 5% on there and say to the seller, hey, would you give me that money back? I'm going to give you 3 months, add another 5%. You give me that money back as far as buying down my payment.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Doing a seller credit for closing costs.
To buy down the interest rate.
For the
permanent buy down for the interest rate.
Yeah.
And then we put in there an appraisal gap program. So we've got everything covered to kind of make sure we get the property.
But you're still protecting your interest.
Right.
Yeah.
And get an aggressive payment.
Yep.
So we do a lot of those different things just to help consumers, because I can't help the consumer with finding the property. That's your job.
That's it.
Right.
Yep.
You're going to go out there and find them the dream home, but now you got to be able to afford it.
Yeah. And, something that I do with my clients in particular, because, a primary focus of mine is to buy distressed properties,
okay,
and then fix them up and then sell them for a profit. I do that through JSC Real Estate Investments. But ultimately, I like to train my new buyers how to think like a rehabbing investor, because a lot of people want to go put themselves in the pool of the turnkey home. They don't want to do the repairs. They don't want to have to, walk into a house that has icky carpet or, maybe smoke on the walls from the elderly person who's been smoking in their house for years. But there's gold in that distress, right? There's you're automatically forcing the appreciation. You're getting it at a discounted rate, and you're able to go in and live in it. It's called a house hack, right? You actually go in, live in it, fix it up while you're living in it. And then ultimately, when you go back to do that refinance, you've now enhanced your value exponentially and given yourself a better loan to value. And now you're able to capitalize on a better interest rate as well.
So I'm concerned about that one a little bit, because I want to get your input on. Actually, we're gonna have to do that when we come back.
Okay.
Because Josh will be ready to throw something at me. But I want to talk to you about that house hack, because we're gonna be doing an in-depth show on this tomorrow. But I want to get your input on this. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In fact, we're gonna talk about that instead of our Your Credit Matters segment. We're not going to do that, but we will give away a trip We wouldn't put that off. And I might even tell you about paying somebody's mortgage next month. All that and more. Reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer, they've got the solutions for you. Don't miss out. You've got. I'm telling you, I've looked at credit reports since 1983 is when I did help the first family with a loan. I've been looking at credit reports a long time. I don't know where 60 Minutes came up with their report saying that 20% of them are wrong. I've never seen one that's completely accurate. Just throw that out there for you. That's Your Credit Matters, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Josh, do we have our raffle ready? Of course he does. Okay, so here it is. We're going to give away a trip. You get to make the choice. You have to reach out to us by 7 p.m. December 5th. That would be tomorrow. 7 p.m. December 5th. You've got to reach out to us by then and tell us that you're the winner. Now, if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, you're seeing a wheel, and it looks like the Wheel of Fortune. It's actually the Wheel of Names. And I can't see any names on there. I have no clue who's going to pop up, but the names are on there, all folks that are in our database. If you're not in the database, rsrraffle.com, rsrraffle.com, you can be in there too. And in just a second, what's going to happen is Josh is going to push that big white button in the middle. And when he pushes that button in the middle, it's going to come up with a name.
Is my name going to be on there?
I don't know. It might be. There it is. Let's see who it is. Ken Steschnauer. Ken, you've got until 5 p.m. December 5th, until 7 p.m. December 5th to claim the prize. What is the prize? It is 6 days, 5 nights in Hawaii, 4 days, 3 nights in Nashville, or 4 days, 3 nights in Lake Tahoe. We do not pay transportation taxes, fees, or in the case of Lake Tahoe, we're not going to pay any gambling debts. But that's your choice. Wherever you want to go, any one of those three, Hawaii, Nashville, or Lake Tahoe. Your choice. You just have to reply. That's from your friends. We appreciate you. We know you have an option as to where you can go, where you can get your information. We appreciate you tuning in to Ron Siegel Radio. And furthering our appreciation, yes, I like giving things away. End of end of every quarter next year, we're going to pay somebody's mortgage. Now, there are limitations, void where prohibited by law. So I can't do this for realtors because we do lead a lending team. So it's against the law for that. But we're going to, if you are a past client of ours, or if you refer somebody who gets a loan from us, we will pay somebody's mortgage. Again, there will be some limitations on it, because if you've got like a $5 million mortgage, I'm not going to be paying your $70,000 mortgage payment. But we do appreciate you. So make sure you're tuning in for that one. rsrraffle.com, rsrraffle.com. Continuing our conversation, we're talking to Joe Price this morning. He's with Rock Real Estate Partners, part of eXp Realty. Joe, I want to talk to you about this part, because in the last segment, and if you missed it, shame on you. You're going to have to go back and we're not going to recap it. But you're talking about those folks that buy properties that need some love.
Yeah.
And, we're going to be doing a show tomorrow, and it's based on a Yahoo Finance article where Zillow's founder, Spencer Raskoff, finds the real estate sector unapproachable and complex, is what he says, which is why this is the only real estate investment in his portfolio. So he does not invest really in real estate.
Oh, wow. That's unfortunate for him.
Well, and I'm going to throw this out there because there's a lot of folks. So I was licensed with Merrill Lynch for many, many years. And we found a lot of folks underperform the market because they're chasing and they're trying to, they think that everything looks easy.
Right.
And I'm going to suggest these shows on TV are very, very misleading.
Correct.
Because they make it look like, you go and you buy a house and they always have the same error in every show. My wife likes watching them. That's the only reason I even have them on.
Yeah.
Right. They didn't know they were going to find that there was a sewer problem, like you just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
or that the electrical panel needed replaced. And I didn't notice a line item when they did all of their budgeting.
Right.
They didn't put a line item in there for unknown contingencies.
Yeah.
Do you put a line item in there for unknown contingencies when you do them?
Absolutely, because we want to make sure that we're protecting ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't do that on TV.
Yeah, they don't.
It just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So what my concern is a lot of folks get into this. They follow something that looks real nice and easy on TV, and it's not nearly as easy as it looks.
Well, what's the saying? If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it,
Right.
right? But ultimately, it's just about making sure that you understand and put your trust in the professionals that are going to help you go down that path and achieve your goal. But when it comes to identifying a property, what I always like to say is if you want to put yourself in a big pond with a bunch of fish, you're probably going to overpay for the piece of real estate. So let's put ourselves in the smaller ponds where nobody's fishing. Right.
Makes sense. Sure.
And so that's why we actually end up, guiding them down towards, there's legacy owners in our market right now. There's people that have owned their home since it was practically built, or
Sure.
maybe they're a second owner. And they have a lot of equity built into that. Their homes are paid off, but they don't know how to tap into the resources. You talk about credit. Maybe they don't have good credit to where they can get a good loan to fix up the house, or they just don't have the knowledge to be able to do that. So we actually go around and trying to find those opportunities, so that way we can bring those opportunities to our buyer pool. And then we put them in that home and tell them that it's not as difficult as you think, because we're aligned with contractors, we're aligned with handymen, and so we bring those people to the table.
Bring the resources out there.
Absolutely.
So in those situations, obviously there are various renovation loans out there that are available for that.
Yeah, you have
Right.
the FHA 203B, 203K,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And that's a really good program because they actually allow you to do the repairs without having to make the payment, right? It's up to, you get 6 months of payment relief, so that way you can fix the house up and then move in, right?
Absolutely. And using your service there,
Mm-hmm.
it helps a lot, because one of the biggest challenges on a lot of those loans is it's got to be, you can't do sweat equity is not allowed.
Right.
Right. You have to use a licensed contractor. How many of us really know a licensed contractor?
Not many.
Right. So you need to have that expert out there. And the other thing is the expertise of knowing, something, a secondary bathroom is going to cost about $5,000, and a primary bathroom is going to cost about $10,000, and the
Right.
kitchen's going to, you guys could probably eyeball these things and have a good idea.
Yeah, because we're doing fix and flips all the time. So we know exactly what the cost per square foot is based off of the last, 10 projects that we did, right?
Sure.
So we go in and we analyze those deals for our buyer pool, and then we help them feel comfortable about making that educated decision going into that. Because most people look at it as it's a thorn, right? It's a thorn in my side. I'm not going to be able to do this. But it's a mindset for us. We want to train you how to look at this opportunity as a lump of coal that's going to turn into a diamond.
Absolutely. And we've talked about many times, this is a great way of building family wealth.
Generational wealth.
Absolutely. So the idea here, my thinking is you get that property, you do it with that renovation loan or other types of programs that are out there.
And you could do that for up to 4 units.
Right.
Right. So you can actually live in one unit and fix the other units up, rent those out, and now somebody's paying your mortgage for you.
And then more than that is wait a couple years and go buy another one and rent the single unit that you were living in.
Yep.
Because that is an owner occupied property.
Exactly.
But now go out and do it again and be the owner occupier of the next one.
Yep.
So you've got that great loan that you're on your departing property.
Yeah.
Right?
I just put somebody into a triplex not too long ago, and it was a doctor. He was sacrificing the area that he was living in because he wanted to get into the market. He knew that the only way that he was going to be able to get into the market with low down payment was to go live in an area that might not be the highest desired area, but he's going to sacrifice for a year and move into that. And now he's cash flowing on 2 units, and he's already calling me back to start and find another property.
That's the way to do it. So he's going to help. He's building his medical practice and his real estate empire.
Yep.
All at the same time because he needs a roof over his head.
That's right.
And he probably doesn't like the idea of using the Coleman over his head as opposed to a brick and mortar roof.
Correct.
Right. So if you want more information on this, if this sounds intriguing to you, give me a call at 800-306-1990. We'll put you in touch with Joe Cohen and his team over there at Rock Real Estate Partners. Find that diamond in the rough because they're out there. You just have to know where to look or hire somebody that knows where to look so you don't have to do it. Share the wealth, right? If you can make a little bit of the pie as opposed to no pie, that's how I got to be this size. Just throw that out there. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.